clay prism in an Oxford museum records 8 kings who ruled 5 cities across 241,000 years, all before a great flood reset everything. For a century, scholars called it mythology. Then ancient DNA extracted from those exact cities revealed something no one expected. Populations appearing, collapsing, and being replaced 6 distinct times. The question is no longer whether this cycle is real. It is what it means for the 7th. In a climate-controlled case at the Ashmolean Museum, a 4-sided clay prism stands as both artifact and riddle. Catalogued as AN 1923.4444, the prism arrived in Oxford after its excavation at Larsa in 1922 by Herbert Weld Blundell. The cuneiform lines etched into its baked surface present a claim that has unsettled generations of scholars. 8 kings, ruling over 5 cities for a span of 241,000 years before a flood erased their world. These cities, Eridu, Bad Tibira, Larak, Sippar, and Shurupak, are not inventions of later legend, but names that recur across administrative texts and temple records from early Mesopotamia. The inscription's most arresting detail is not only the impossible reign lengths, but the precision with which it divides time into cycles, each city rising, each dynasty ending in silence. Epigraphers like Stephen Langdon, who first published the prism's text in the 1930s, catalogued its lines and variants, but placed the antediluvian section firmly in the realm of myth. The prism's provenance, confirmed by museum accession records and field notebooks, leaves no doubt about its authenticity or its ancient origin. Yet the question remains, did its scribe encode collective memory or pure imagination? The answer for decades depended on faith in the boundary between story and history. Now, with new scientific methods, that boundary is under review. Testing the ancient claims of the Sumerian king list now depends on a set of scientific tools that operate far beyond traditional archaeology. 4 independent methods form the backbone of this investigation. Ancient DNA extracts genetic material from human remains to identify population changes and ancestry patterns in buried skeletons. Environmental DNA sifts through sediments and flood layers, capturing traces of plants, animals, and even human presence left behind in the soil. Ground-penetrating radar sends electromagnetic pulses into the earth, mapping hidden structures and revealing construction phases, destruction layers, and buried city walls without disturbing the ground. Radiocarbon dating measures the decay of carbon-14 in organic material, providing precise ages for bones, charcoal, and plant remains found in archaeological layers. Each method works independently, yet together they can confirm or contradict the cycles described in Sumerian texts. By combining genetic signatures, environmental markers, subsurface mapping, and absolute dating, researchers can move from interpreting legend to testing it against measurable evidence. Across the arc of the ancient Near East, a new kind of evidence has begun to redraw the map of early human populations. The Southern Arc Genome Project assembled DNA from 777 individuals recovered from archaeological sites stretching from the Levant and Anatolia to the Caucasus and Zagros, and spanning nearly 11,000 years, from the dawn of settled farming around 9000 BCE to the early modern era. This dataset, unprecedented in scale, reveals a genetic landscape far more complex than any single legend or chronicle could suggest. Instead of a single ancestral line, the results show a mosaic. Early farmers in southern Iraq carried a blend of Anatolian, Caucasus, and Levantine hunter-gatherer ancestry, while neighboring regions preserved distinct signatures that sometimes persisted for millennia. No modern population matches these ancient clusters exactly, and present-day groups carry only fragments, the result of repeated migrations, admixtures, and disappearances. The Southern Arc findings create a baseline of genetic diversity and turnover that allows researchers to track how specific sites, such as Eridu, experience their own cycles of rise, collapse, and renewal. With this regional map in hand, the investigation turns to the earliest city named on the king list, searching for the biological traces of the civilizations that came before. At Eridu, a city long regarded as the birthplace of Sumerian civilization, the soil holds a record that challenges the idea of uninterrupted cultural progress. Excavations led by Iraqi and German teams uncovered a sequence of burials from the Ubaid period, dating from 5150 BC BCE to 4000 BCE. Ancient DNA taken from 28 individuals in these earliest layers revealed a tightly knit genetic cluster distinct from both earlier hunter-gatherers and later urban populations. This group, often called the Mesopotamian farmer cluster, dominated the site for centuries, yet within a narrow window between 4050 BCE and 3950 BCE, the genetic profile at Eridu changes abruptly. Later burials, stratified directly above the Ubaid layers, carry a markedly different signature, closely matching populations from the Zagros Mountains to the east. The mitochondrial and Y chromosome lineages shift, with haplogroup R2 and YDNAR appearing for the first time in the record. Radiocarbon dating brackets this turnover within a single century. The archaeological layers mirror this biological break. Ubaid-era mud brick houses give way to new forms of monumental architecture, and mortuary customs transform alongside the population. For field scientists working under harsh conditions, the evidence was unmistakable. A founding community present for generations vanishes from the genetic record, replaced by newcomers whose ancestry and traditions set the stage for what followed. This replacement, documented in both bone and brick, offers a material echo of the Sumerian king list's claim that each dynasty began with new blood after the silence of collapse. At Uruk, researchers scanned the mound with ground-penetrating radar, tracing 4 distinct construction phases beneath the dust. Between the 3rd and 4th layers, they found a thin band of ash, just a few centimeters thick, stretching across the city's heart. Charcoal from this layer dated sharply to 3950 BCE, marking a citywide fire that left a clear, if slender, scar in the earth. The ash horizon cut through temples and homes alike, a silent record of sudden destruction. From this same layer, skeletal remains offered another clue. DNA from 34 individuals revealed a genetic profile that broke from the past. While Mesopotamian farmer ancestry dominated, a new 12% Anatolian component appeared, absent in earlier burials. Mitochondrial and Y chromosome markers shifted, pointing to unfamiliar lineages. This was not slow mixing, but a marked genetic bottleneck, timed exactly with the ash. The ground-penetrating radar team mapped the ash as it threaded through the city, their data aligning with the genetic rupture. The evidence suggested a sweeping event, one that emptied Uruk and drew in outsiders. In the aftermath, Uruk's streets and rulers were shaped by newcomers, their genes and customs woven into the city's rebirth. In early 2019, a team of geoscientists and geneticists launched a coordinated coring project across the southern Mesopotamian plain. 12 sediment cores, each drilled to 6 meters, traced a line from Al-Qurna to Nippur, covering 250 kilometers of ancient river basin. Within these cores, researchers identified a continuous layer marked by a sharp spike in aquatic plant DNA, including phragmites, reeds, and typha, as well as diatom shells and a surge in sulfate content. These signatures point to a sudden high-energy flood, not a seasonal overflow. The oxygen isotope profile, specifically a delta 18O excursion, aligns with a rapid influx of fresh water, while radiocarbon dates from charcoal and organic debris inside the layer converge on 4,200 plus or minus 30 BCE. Below this horizon, fragments of human mitochondrial DNA match the genetic profile of the Ubaid population, already distinct from later groups. Directly above, the genetic signal flips, and it matches the Zagros-related ancestry seen in early Uruk remains. The transition is abrupt, with no evidence of gradual mixing. The flood layer stretches uninterrupted across the entire transect, suggesting a single event capable of erasing established communities and opening the landscape to new arrivals. For the scientists who pieced together this record, the data left little room for doubt. The flood was not a mythic metaphor, but a real environmental rupture, powerful enough to synchronize demographic change across a region the size of a small country. A team at the Max Planck Institute set out to test the genetic record for traces of lost populations. Using statistical modeling on hundreds of ancient genomes from Mesopotamia and its neighbors, they detected a hidden ancestry component, one that contributed between 8 and 12% of the DNA in people living before 3000 BCE. This genetic thread did not match any known ancient or modern group. Monte Carlo simulations run 10,000 times confirmed its presence with a p-value below 0.001. Yet after 3000 BCE, the signal vanishes entirely. The timing coincides with the rise of the earliest city-states. For population geneticists, this disappearance is not a statistical quirk, but a measurable loss. The so-called ghost ancestry lingers through repeated cycles of collapse and rebuilding, only to vanish as the old order gives way to something new. Some researchers now ask if this lost lineage represents the biological echo of the ruling bloodlines described in Sumerian legend. Genomic data from Egypt offers a striking parallel. The Cambridge team sequenced 90 mummies spanning over a millennium, revealing a persistent Nile Valley ancestry that closely matches the Mesopotamian farmer component. This genetic substrate endures through periods of political upheaval, only fading in the Ptolemaic era. Yet even as the Egyptian record appears to mirror the Mesopotamian cycles, important caveats remain. Most ancient DNA comes from elite burials, risking a bias toward ruling classes. Regions such as the Diyala remain undersampled, and the effective population size during the Uruk bottleneck may have dropped to just 1,200 or 1,500 individuals. Radiocarbon dating, too, faces its own limits. Calibration plateaus around 4,200 BCE can obscure the exact timing of environmental shifts. These methodological gaps remind us that, while the regional pattern is compelling, the evidence still rests on an incomplete foundation. Today, sediment layers and ancient DNA reveal cycles that echo the Sumerian record: collapse, survival, renewal. What scholars once called myth now aligns with measurable evidence. If civilization truly resets, the pattern is not past, it is present. The next layer in the earth could hold our own story. Share your perspective below.